Hey guys, Sean Terry here, flip2freedom.com. Hope you are doing well. All right, now in this video, we're going to do an actual case study of two deals that we recently closed. We're going to go in and I'm going to show you the deals, what we contracted them for, what we sold them for, what the profit was, give proof of actual wires coming into the account. Then we're going to talk about the situation and how we got them, where we got them. Everything about this case study so you guys can go out and do deals yourself and be able to contract, get properties under contract, and then sell them in this crazy real estate market right now. So if you want to learn how to go out and make $25,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $100,000 a month, or scale to millions of dollars, and you want to crush it in 2023, do me a favor, click the like button down there, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos that we have. And also too, definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, because every so often I'll go live and do a Q&A, and I'll get on, I'll answer a bunch of questions, and we'll be able to actually interact and get your questions right there and be able to answer them, and which will be fun. So let's get into this video. We're going to talk about the case studies of these properties right here. So 2008 all over again. Market is definitely interesting right now. All right, so let's go on the first one. This one's in Arizona, Litchfield Park, Arizona. It's Wigwam Boulevard. It's a nice newer property condo. Value of the property is $345, and this one came from a referral. Definitely make sure when you are in the business, ask for referrals, friends, family, relatives, coworkers. Talk to people about what you do. Everywhere we go, my whole team talks to people about what's happening, or they talk to the leads that coming in, the sellers, and say, listen, do you know anybody else that's looking to sell their property, in this current market? And you'll be amazed. We got an actual I think it was like $20,000 in a deal in Pomona, California, from a referral from a lady we closed the deal on. And it's one of her friends that sold the property to us, and we were able to close that deal. So asking for referrals is huge in the business. So if I go in here and you can see we got it for $345. So there is no lead cost for this property at all. Seller inherited the property. It was vacant. We put it on a lockbox, got pictures of the property, and it's local. So we live in Phoenix, Arizona. So we were able to go over and look at the property. And we have a little bit of a better edge in our local market, but we don't want to be strapped by the local market. I worked in the local market for about almost 16, 17 years before I went national. I can tell you it's a lot easier to scale and do business nationally than it is in a very highly competitive market, local market. So lowest acceptable, they wanted $295. After looking at the property and everything, we offered and got the property under contract for $245. And we sold and listed the property on the MLS for $279. We got an offer accepted for $279, paid 3% commission. Timeline was about 3 weeks on this particular deal. So how do you, offer, they want $295, but you get it for $245 because there were other similar properties, other condos, townhouses that sold cash at a much lower number. So when you're negotiating with a seller, you got to find comparable sales, the lower comparable sales, which are typically cash transactions. So remember, we get to acquire on the low cash comps and sell at a higher and sell to conventional buyers. Now, in this particular case, we listed on the MLS, and we sold the property to a conventional buyer that came in and bought the property, and we still were able to sell it at a discount. And because we priced the property at a discount at $279 when it's really valued at $345, the buyer got a good deal. The seller, got, it was free and clear, got their profit, goes inherited profit. They didn't have to do a thing to the property. I think if I remember, the seller was actually out of state. So, it was a pretty good deal. So here is the actual listing. So we listed it on December 7th. About less than, about 10 days later, we went pending, and then we closed on January 13th. So that's $279,000. Here's the wire for that deal. We made $25,282 on that particular deal, and it was actually a very simple deal that worked. So it was pretty good. And here's actually the actually offer calculator. This is the calculator we use. So at the time, Redfin value was 341. REI Automator estimate was 367. Zillow was 328,000. So the average price was 345. Square footage 1241. We used $10 on a price per square foot. It was $12,000 in repairs. And this calculator basically takes the average price less repairs at 50, 60, and 70%. And at 60%, we got it at 60 or 50%. These are the potential spreads at those numbers. So we actually got the property over the price right here. If you saw, we got the property, we acquired it for $245. So we are able to go higher than the actual calculator itself because we know the market, and we have some buyers local, and we knew that we could probably sell it for a little bit more because there was some high demand in that area. So the worst case scenario, we knew we could sell it cash and we could make like 10 grand on it, but we turned around, sold it conventional on the MLS, took an offer, and got it closed. So that is the calculator we use, and this particular property is a great deal. We were able to make, on that particular deal, pretty good, making $25,000 on the deal. So 25 grand, that's not bad. Imagine doing a couple deals a year. Maybe you're part-time and you're working, in another job, and you get a deal like this. This wasn't that hard to put together. Talk to the seller, make an offer, get a property under contract. Right? Once you get under contract, then we have them sign an attorney in fact. An attorney in fact allows us to list the property on the MLS. Works complete disclosure. We tell the seller exactly what we're doing. We list the property on the MLS, handle all the calls, handle the situation, handle any repairs needed on the property, and then we're able to get the property closed. So when all the dust settled, it was completely hands off for them. They had to make one call to us. We were able to get the entire transaction done for them. They got the cash out of it. They didn't have to lift a finger on anything. We made $25,000. They got their deal done, and they were super happy about it. So that's a win-win situation all the way around. And imagine you doing these once, every, what if you do 2 a year? That's an additional $50,000 a year just by doing this. All right, so here's the next one. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. Hold on a sec. Let me escape. Here you go. So here's this one right here. So this one is just outside of Washington, D.C., Fort Washington, Maryland, Wood Hollow Place. Value about $249,000. Now there's similar condos, townhouses that were listed for $249,000. They're all fixed up and look pretty. This property was in a rough condition. They had leaks. They had all sorts of stuff. The property was pretty ugly. So lowest acceptable initially was $199,000, and the reason why is because when we talked to the seller, she had a large HOA, like a $70,000 HOA lien on the property. So that's a significant lien. How do you get a $60,000 HOA lien on the property? Also, too, she had some other IRS or tax issues, like state tax issues that she needed to get clear up. So she needed to get $199,000 to be able to pay off all this stuff and be able to sell the property and get a little bit of cash to be able to move on. So what we did, it was instead of signing the contract at a typical contract for, $119,000, you see here, we got the property for $119,500, and that was essentially less than what she owed. So here's the thing. We did not sign the contract for a price of $119,500. We agreed to pay her a certain amount of cash, right? And that she would pay the liens, like the tax liens, right? Her state tax liens. So we gave her enough cash to pay the state tax liens, and she would handle that part. And she ended up walking after paying those state tax liens with roughly about almost $10,000. So she was happy about that. Now, what we did is at that point, we had literally no deal. We're making no money on the transaction at that point. So the only way we could make money is if we renegotiated the HOA lien. So the way we structured the contract is we basically said that, listen, we'll pay all the settlements of the liens, mortgages, any judgments, anything like that. We'll pay the settlements of. I want you to remember that, because that's critically important when you see a deal like this, when you have junior liens on the property like a HOA lien. So what we did was, actually, I called up the HOA company, talked to the person in charge, and we renegotiated the HOA lien. I'll show you here in a second. All right, so here is actually what we're talking about. So the actual tax, the lien balance for the assessment, the condominium assessment, was $60,638, and the settlement balance was $23,515. So that was great, and it ended up we were able to make $29,790 on this particular deal. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a little condo outside of Washington, D.C. We were able to negotiate it. So it was literally a no deal when we signed the contract. There was no money there. The only money was in renegotiating. Now, if we could not renegotiate what we have done, we would have basically had to go to the seller and either help them out still and try to get it sold and get it done. But we'd have to do it for a higher price, or we'd have to pass on it and cancel the contract. So when you get these type of deals coming in, especially, we could go into, I could go into all foreclosures and having, settlements and renegotiating specific liens and ones you can and cannot. There's a ton of amazing things where most people would have passed on this particular deal, but because we use the word settlement of mortgages, negotiate the settlement of those things, it allowed us to be able to turn a no deal into a almost a $30,000 deal. Now, this one took a little bit longer because we had a buyer that came in, said he was going to buy it. He said he was a cash buyer, but he was a fake buyer. He basically faked everybody out, got that down to closing, but what he tried to do is do something with our seller and try to go behind our back. So we bounced him out. We filed a memorandum on the property, got the seller back on board, got it sold, got it closed, and made $29,000 on the deal. So it was a touch and go, and that happens in this business. But if you push through it, get it done, we were able to get the property done and turn it into a pretty good deal. So it's a $29,970 deal. So hope this helps, these case studies. This property came from AdWords. Lead came in, talked to the seller, got the property under contract. But each property, I can tell you, has a unique problem. Every single property has a unique, either it's a unique seller, a unique situation. We have a property in California right now where it's a divorced couple, and the seller, the lady who has the rights to sell the property per a court order, lives in another state now, and the husband lives across the street. And every time we try to send someone over to the house, he's out there harassing them. It's like crazy. There's always a unique problem. We have tenant problems. That's a unique problem. Trying to work through that of a tenant that doesn't communicate. What do? We have a property right now. Do we have to wait until they're evicted on the 1st before we can do anything with the property? We just have to get a longer extended close with the seller on our contract. This situation where you have liens on the property, right? There's multiple different liens. We've had ones where we had 6 people on title. All 5 agreed to sell, and now 1 person holds out. Well, guess what? I'm getting on the phone with that one person and I'm having a conversation about getting this deal done. And it's negotiation. But here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell you is there is a lot of different things. That's what makes what we do so exciting, right? Because everything is different all the time. There is no same house in the same area with the same seller in the same situations. You get these easy deals with a vacant property. You can put it on a lockbox. They want to sell it below market and you can move that property quickly. Those are great and those will come. But the majority of the deals I want to tell you have hair on them, right? There's baggage. And that's why we get paid to do what we do. We solve problems for sellers. And if you approach it like that and take on the problem and realize the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck, then now you earn your money. That's what we do as real estate wholesalers. We take properties that no one else can handle and we can turn those into a profit. That's when this business becomes incredibly fun and you can make a lot of money doing it. And you feel great about it because no one else can handle that deal. Not a realtor could step in and figure out how to handle that deal. Other investors, most people don't because they don't educate themselves watching YouTube videos or whatever, or buy courses, and they don't learn how to do this type of stuff. Now, I can tell you that's the fun of the business. Now, if you want to learn more, definitely hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on videos. Number one. Number two is in the bio, in the description below, there is a link to Bear Market Millions. And I talk about what's happening currently in the real estate market, where I see kind of a prediction of what's happening in the future of the real estate and how you can participate in what I believe is one of the greatest opportunities that we'll have in this lifetime. All you gotta do is click the link below. There's actually a training. Watch it all because I talk about there's about 6 ways to go out, or there's 6 steps to go out and do deals nationally all across the country, from picking a market to the 3 best marketing channels, to talking the 4-step process, to talking to a seller over the phone. So if you really want to learn how to do this business, click it and watch that web class. And I tell you, there's a lot of cool stuff in there and you'll learn a ton on how to do deals like this. So hit the like and subscribe, definitely register for the webinar, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless.